Gentlemen, we are back again for another top 10 Manchester City things. This time it's the top 10 reasons that City are an absolute joke. Top 10 City comedy moments. Richard, we are starting with you. Tell us all about it, buddy boy.
Well, I went to a game, I think in the very early 90s under Howard Kendall down at Nottingham Forest. And our goalkeeper decided he was going to hold the ball out on his hand so that a Nottingham Forest player could run up behind him, head it out of his hand, go round him and score a goal. A goal that still remains one of the most controversial goals in top flight history of English football. And resulted apparently in Gary Crosby getting a phone call to tell him off from Alex Ferguson.
Always a good day. George, tell us. Comedy moments, Manchester City.
It's got to be Balotelli taking his shirt off at Old Trafford in front of all the United players saying, "Why always me?" That you just couldn't get any more better than that. He wound up every single United player in 1 second and the whole of Old Trafford booed him for it. It was just, you can't beat it.
Well, this is the guy that drove around Moss Side with a wallet full of cash, set fireworks off in his bathroom. What a comedian. Martin, tell us.
I'm going to tell you about the greatest ever goal scored at Main Road. And no, I don't mean the Kincladze goal. I'm sure it was 97, 98, but it was Queen's Park Rangers. And we had a player, Jamie Pollock. He's got a little bit of Brazilian in him and Argentinian, but the skills. Sat in my seat and I'm watching Jamie Pollock do a little kick up, do a little cheeky chest. And then the next thing, he heads it, dinks the goalkeeper. Problem was, it was his own goalkeeper, Nicky Weaver, and the ball went out and scored an own goal. And it has got to be the greatest ever goal Jamie Pollock's ever scored, because I didn't even know he had skills like that day. He was bought as a destroying midfielder and not someone with a better flair. But the fact it was just, a little dink over a player, chest, onto the ball, and dinked over Nicky Weaver was just like, wow.
It was a finish that a lot of strikers would be proud of. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ryan, comedy. You're a bit of a comedy genius. Tell us.
I think the one thing that comes to me, apart from, Martin, is the fact that we're probably the only club in the world that could be fighting to get into Europe and decide, you know what, we really need? Goalkeeper up front. That's the one thing that could really push us on to getting into Europe that season. Bring on a goalkeeper, sticking him up front and having him just score the winner. That's what's going to happen. It's a great plan. Nothing could go wrong with that. We could play fullbacks in goal. That'll work out. That worked out well.
Are you referring to David James up front? Because didn't we have actual strikers on the bench, but we decided...
Yeah, we had John Mackin.
We had £1 million striker on the bench, and instead we decided to... Yeah, we decided to bring a goalkeeper on.
You can bring on David James.
Exactly, yeah. Why bother when you've got David James?
Apparently, the look on their faces when Nicky Weaver got asked to warm up and get ready to go on, and John Mackin's next to him, and Nicky Weaver's the one warming up to go on.
Yeah, shocking. That Manchester City for you. Right, my first comedy moment with Manchester City is there's a very famous video on YouTube. BANTER FC, Manchester City fans in a tube station in London, when Manchester United were a few points behind us a couple of years ago in the Premier League, and we were both vying for the Premier League title. And the tube train comes into the station, and the tannoy announcer says, "Mind the gap." And all of the City fans start singing, "Mind the gap, Man United." Have you ever seen that? You must have seen that video. It's a great video. Comedy moment from comedy City fans. Absolutely wonderful. Because Manchester United are the real BANTER FC, because they are nowhere near us. Richard, tell us. Comedy moment, Manchester City.
I think another great comedy moment has to be a game against Middlesbrough, which I assume was somewhere in the 2000s somewhere, where we had about 18 shots on target. Middlesbrough had 0 shots on target, and we managed to lose 1-0 due to a Richard Dunham goal, which was I don't know if anyone's ever.
Thought it was
managed to
Sunji
lose when was it? I thought it was Richard Dunn.
I thought
Maybe
it was Sunji who scored the own
But I
goal.
remember we did not
Yeah.
have they did not have a shot on target or barely a shot on
battered them.
goal, and we had so many and we lost, and that was so Manchester City. Wasn't.
Yeah, it was a really bad. It was a cold day. We battered Middlesbrough. The Middlesbrough fans walked away with 3 points, and they still don't know how they even did it. They're like, "Hey, what?"
3 points without registering a single shot on target. I understand your confusion with Richard Dunn because, I mean, he was an own goal specialist. I mean, Jamie Pollock might have scored the best own goal, but Richard Dunn, he scored a lot of own goals. George.
So this one involves a player I just mentioned before. So it's a cold Champions League night. First of all, Balotelli can't get his bib on, just for the bit of banter. And then you find out he was allergic to their grass, just for the added insults to the match.
That's great.
You couldn't make it up that match. It was just like Balotelli just had the biggest mare of his life that day. It's like, I can't play, I'm allergic, and I can't get a bib on. You gotta love it.
No,
I
you
love
don't.
Balotelli.
I mean, I think we could do about 100 Balotelli balls.
There'll be a video soon just about Balotelli, definitely. Yeah, unbelievable. What a legend. What an absolute legend. Martin.
Yeah. My last one is, now imagine it, Manchester City not been in Europe for years and years and years. Not even had a sniff. And then City finally get in Europe. But not the normal way, not the way of finishing the top 6 or the top 7. What we did was we decided to go down the fair play route. And what we got was the last, now Rich and Rob are laughing there because they know what we did. The last 6 or 7 games of the season, I think it was even that Middlesbrough year as well, when James came on. We started getting told off the players, do not get yellow cards, do not tackle, do not do anything, do not breathe on them. Why? Because this is our place in Europe. We're top of the fair play league. Please do not mess this up. And then we ended up going to Midtjylland and TNS and everything. It was like, just, of all the ways
out at TNS.
Yeah.
Of all the ways Manchester City got into Europe,
yeah,
it wasn't even the back door. It was the cat flap. It was the cat flap.
And we qualified to go to Wales.
Yeah, it was
our big European day out at TNS in Wales.
Solutions.
Well, I mean, I think one of the funniest things about City specifically has to be just Richard Dunn in general. The fact that he went so many years and he won, I think, what was it, Player of the Year 4 years on bounce?
Yeah,
4,
like that.
4 or 5 at least. And the fact that he then goes and holds, I believe, the Premier League record for own goals. That's one of our greatest ever centre-backs. It's a great sign, the Premier League.
You leave Donino alone.
Yeah, Donino.
Yeah,
Dunnog. Richard Dunnog.
He did great for us. It's just the fact that someone so good for our club could be so bad statistically in terms of the amount of goals he managed to A, let in, and B, let in himself.
There was one season where I think he was either the joint top scorer against us or the second top scorer against us in one of the seasons. And he was our first choice centre half. He was a great centre half, but he didn't half love an own goal. All right, my last Comedy City moment was that night. Was it the same night, Martin? And you'll say yes or no once I've filled in the picture a bit more. When they turned the lights off and they put the moon over the east stand.
The Carabao Cup semi-final,
where Mancini and Ferguson got into it, and you got the puppet, you got the hand puppet from Mancini in Ferguson's face.
It was in the documentary as well.
Yeah, that was an amazing moment. It was funny, so it is a comedy moment, but it was a defining moment where Sir Alex Ferguson, the guy that's been in every referee's ear, every fourth official's ear for decades. And Mancini gives him that little, Martin, come on, do the little hand puppet that he did in his face. in his face. That was wonderful. It was a great comedy
Yeah,
moment.
and Wayne Rooney told Tevez not to miss the pen, don't hit the post.
Yeah. So that's one of my comedy moments, and I'll always remember that because it was, like I said, we are the great usurpers. Nobody can ever underestimate what we did to overthrow Man United off their throat, dethrone Man United. Gentlemen, love it, gentlemen. Some banter moments, Banter FC, comedy moments for Manchester City. Thank you very much. We almost got to 10 minutes this time. Once again, we're over that mark, but whatever. I'll see you in the next one. I love it. Love it, Keegan. Love it.